Just finished 2 hours 15 minutes on the bike. It's Saturday evening. It burned just under 1,700 calories, and that is my only training for today. It's now time for dinner, but first, a shower. Talk a bit about how I lost 8.5 kilograms in just under 6 months. So about five and a half months, I hit the 68.5 kilogram mark. When I started prep, I was 77 kilograms. So obviously that's 8.5 kilograms lost in that time. And I think there's a few reasons for it that I thought I might share with you guys, and maybe you'll learn something. You might think it's absolute bullshit, and you want to tell me why it's wrong, which also is okay. So I'd love to hear you guys' comments down below. And before I get into it, if you don't mind smashing the like button, it's that little thumbs up button on the right of your screen. If you wouldn't mind smashing that, that would be much appreciated, and subscribe if you haven't. So without further ado, let's get into the topic of the video. So let's just move that. There we go. So I started going to the gym at about 16 years old, and when I first started, I was 60 kilograms, which is relatively light, especially for kind of like a 16-year-old. I was naturally very skinny. I still am naturally very skinny, and very small frame. And yeah, for the first couple of years of just lifting weights, my primary goal was just to put on weight and size and muscle. I didn't care too much about adding fat, just so I just want to get stronger. And I really started to see results when I went to university, and I started researching more. I had a bit more time on my hands, looked into it a lot further, and realized that I need to be eating a lot more. And that's where I learned about counting my calories, which is something that I'll go on to in a second. So essentially, I started making sure I had at least 150 grams of protein a day, as well as getting at least, I think it was 3,000 or a certain amount of calories per day, just to make sure I was in a calorific surplus. And that's one way you can, the way you can make sure you gain weight. And since then I started increasing weight relatively easily, and my heaviest in the second year of uni, I was 80 kilograms. I was definitely my strongest that I've ever been, but I was also the fattest I've ever been. Fast forward to 2018, so a few years after leaving university, I kind of found out about CrossFit, and I watched I think a few documentaries on Netflix about CrossFit, and just really wanted to get into that. So I did that for a few years, managed to lose a bit of weight. As you know now, I'm training for my Ironman, and that's when I kind of switched from bodybuilding, lifting weights, to CrossFit, and now fully to cardio, which is what I'm doing. I'm going to put a photo of what I looked like when I first started Ironman prep, and that was a New Year's Eve from 2019 going into 2020. So you can see there's quite a big difference in my face now as there was then. So I'd say there's two main reasons, or the two things I've been focusing on in order to maintain, in order to ensure that I've lost weight. The first one is my diet and nutrition. Second one is just burning calories through exercise and intensity. So I've been counting my calories. Pretty much everything I eat, I will log on MyFitnessPal. I'm currently sat at 1,800 calories per day. Then anytime I do exercise, which gets logged through my Garmin Fenix 5 Plus, gets added to MyFitnessPal and allows me to eat a bit extra. So say for example, I'm on 1,800 calories for a day. If I didn't do any exercise, that's how much I would need to eat at the moment, because I know that's what I can lose weight on, just very slowly lose weight, and it's not too taxing on my body by eating too few calories. But say I went for a really big bike ride or run and burnt 1,000 calories, that would then add that to MyFitnessPal, and would mean I could eat 2,800 for the day, and I know I'd still lose weight. I expect to get around 67.5 kilograms, so a kilogram lighter than I am now, and I might need to drop that again. I'm also not too sure what weight I want to finish on. I guess it depends on how lean I look. I don't want to get so lean right now, especially it's coronavirus, there's no races going on, so I don't want to put my body under too much stress, but I would like to see how lean I can get without putting too much effort, because I still feel fine just doing this at the moment. I don't feel like I'm depriving myself of too much. I just make sure I don't eat massive portions, and I just weigh my food and just consciously think about it most of the time, and that is good enough for now. And so the second point, that was nutrition, making sure I'm having fewer calories than my body needs by about 200, so I'm just slowly losing weight. The second is my increased activity levels. So I'm currently training anywhere from 6 to 7 to 9 times a week. I'll have usually one rest day, or sometimes two, but mainly one rest day. And when I'm not resting, I'll be doing either, at the moment, only biking and running, because I can't swim, all the gyms and pools are shut. And then sometimes I'll do a run and a bike on the same day, and that typically lasts for, on average, I say an hour to an hour and a half, my sessions are. So that means I'm burning a fair amount of calories during that time, which allows me to have a bit more flexibility with my diet. So for example, like I said, if I burn 1,000 calories in a workout, I can have 2,800 calories in a day, and I know that I'm going to be still losing weight. I don't have to worry about it too much. So that's pretty much it. Making sure I have fewer calories than my body needs by just counting them and just logging everything in. And secondly, just exercising more than I have been before. So especially if I do 2 sessions in a day, I'm going to burn a lot more calories compared to what I was doing before, which is obviously bodybuilding or CrossFit. And a few other tips I'd like to add in there is that when I don't tend to have breakfast, or if I do, have a very small breakfast, and I can then that'll carry me on until lunchtime. So usually I'll have maybe 30 grams of cereal or 40 grams of cereal, which is about 130 calories. Typically I'll get to lunchtime, which is, for me, is like have about 12:30, and I've only had about 120-130 calories from that cereal, which means the rest of the day I can just relax a lot more than if I was eating consistently during the day. So I know some people really love breakfast in the morning, some people don't. I'm not really a big breakfast person, and I know that I have a massive appetite, sadly, just before I go to bed. So one way I can get around that is just eating very slowly, or very low amounts of food during the day, and just increase it. So if I do have cravings, they tend to be in the night. I can still eat roughly, I can still increase the calories without putting on weight. The last thing, I'm pretty sure this is the last thing, is I weigh myself. It doesn't matter too much if you fluctuate a bit each day, but on average over a week you should be losing a roughly half a kilogram. There's no exact science on that, but as long as I can kind of mentally see that the scales are slowly going down, that's a good sign. Without weighing yourself, it's very hard to know whether you're eating too many or too few calories, because it's very hard to tell by looking in the mirror whether you're putting on weight or not. So weighing yourself, if you haven't got a set of scales, I'll put a link down below to some scales that I use. That's something I'd highly recommend. So thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope that has helped. Currently sat in this park on my own, like a loner, but it's all good. If you do have any further questions, please comment them down below, and I'll get back to you within a couple of hours, I'd say. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you got it this far, please consider subscribing, and please like the video if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.